Guys, it's Spoot from Fort Misery Gaming, again, doing Sinoalice. We had a couple of different updates today that are interesting. So let's take a look and I'll show you sort of what comes with it. So we're going to talk about the armor event that came out today, July 30th. We'll check out the notice first just to give you a little overview, and then I've cleared all 10 stages so I can kind of show you what it looks like. We also got Grand Coliseum coming soon. I do want to say that. The first sign up is at August 5th. So get ready for that. I have a talk with Zant from the Sinoalice Discord and the JP players. We kind of went over Grand Colo a bit, so I'm just getting that cut up and pieced together. So that should be coming out relatively soon, at least before Grand Colo, but we've got a week, so not a huge deal. So Records of Vengeance, the armor event. This runs until the 13th of July. You've got an obtainable S Nightmare, you've got spider drop rates 1, 3, and 5%, and you have Deep Sea Armor series. These start at, do they show them to you in here? Oh, okay. It does show you what the drops are though. So you can get Deep Sea, you can get 4 pieces per for verse 5, 9, and 10. It's 1% each, so not great, but not terrible. So they start at A, they do upgrade to SR. Let me see if I have a piece to show you. Obviously the drop rates aren't great, but if you haven't been able to get your full set of neir gear, or you haven't bothered to get armor at all, this isn't a bad thing to kind of look at. Oh, I've got staves. Does it let me hold and look? No? Okay. I just wanted to see it. I didn't want to do anything. I don't want to sell it. There we go. So Staff Water Soul increases the effectiveness of water staff skills. When you have the set, it does more damage to dragons. So for the upcoming dragon raid that's fire, it's pretty good. But let's see if I can... There's a way to have it upgraded the entire way, but I don't suppose. So I'll pull up the max stats on the database in a second. So we'll go ahead and show you these. Now the cool thing about this event that I think is really understated is... Beep boop, Records of Vengeance. So the max difficulty is 70, so anybody that's close to the like 75 to 80k range, and even some of you DPSs that are slightly below it, should be capable of finishing it, which is really cool. You've got your drops, you've got your spiders. Here's the really cool thing. The whole event is 8 AP except for the first couple of missions, so everything from 5 on is 8. So you can go to verse 9. Look, stuff. You can go to verse 8. Oh, look, evolution mats. Now, I will say, while I do not believe this is efficient grinding, if you have a whole neir set, if you are looking to get up on the raid, it's probably okay. For free-to-play players that might be falling behind and you need a couple extra pieces of SR gear, this is definitely an easy way to do it, especially for the AP. 8 is nuts. It is wild. Especially because you can get armor evo mats here. You can also get armor experience here. Like, not at a crazy rate and not above an A, but you can get level 3 drops here. So it's pretty good farming. I would still say you want to do your best to empty the neir event out. We have this one for... How long is this running? So the neir event has 6 days left. We have 13 on Records of Vengeance. So kind of gauge where you're at for both of them. If you've gotten pretty much most of the stuff out of the neir event and you're like, okay, well, I need something else to do, Records of Vengeance isn't bad. If you have SR neir gear and you're free to play, you might not want to put the extra mats into the Record of Vengeance. Just make sure you have your matching set. So, like, for this one especially, since we only have, let's see, staffs, instruments, heavy, and blade. Oh, no, I guess pole arm and projectile are here too, but it doesn't look like they are full sets. So that's still kind of nuts. But you definitely want to keep an eye on this event. Oh, that just winds you back to the event? Okay, that's kind of funny. So you get to see the armor drop rates. Verse 5 and verse 9 and verse 10 are 5% for these. So like 5% for hair barrette, dress heavy, shoes, instrument, and gloves, staff. Oh, that's why I have the staff one. And then it's 1% for the rest of them. So it does take a little bit of grinding. The events are not hard. I'm going to run the last verse just here. I'm a mage in PvE because I've got like 5 orbs. So like we'll just run that and see what happens. Now, the other thing you can do is... Oh, I'm not even... I didn't have it on auto. What a terrible night. Alright, going through. And it is 5 waves, so it does take a little bit of time, and the boss has a lot of HP, so if you're not hitting the guy pretty reliably, it's a little hard. It's not as difficult as the neir stuff by any stretch, and it's definitely not as hard as the Emil raid. But it does have a couple of moments of like, oh, okay, well, I gotta punch this guy for a little bit. It's not the literal worst thing that has ever happened, but it's got a pretty decent, like, run. Get my fire orb out of the way. So far, no drops, so kind of poopy. But everybody's got some okay stats on them. The healing is doing okay. Alright, he doesn't need any real attack, so not a huge problem there. Get my red orb out. Alright, let's do it. So you got your big giant spider up here. So the design of these nightmares is actually really cool. He's like this underwater crab spider thing, which is neat. Like I'm not opposed to it. It's kind of a cool thing. I think we're just gonna library wisp. Tank the first hits and call it a day. Alright, first bar down. Looking good. Now, his last one is where it takes a little bit of time. Like, he's got a lot of HP, so unless, like, you've got somebody in the party who's actively debuffing, like, you can expect to be here for a little bit. Like, if you've got people that are over 100k, I've got, like, Fort and Benzie, which are at, like, 102, and I think Luna is up at 110. It makes short work of this, but it's still going to take you, like, 5 or 6 minutes a run, so... the drop rate on all of the stages are pretty much the same. Like, it's 5% for those 4 pieces and 1% for the rest. So you can kind of pick the stage that you can run through faster and do those. It's not a particular loss, and it's not something you really got to get caught up in. You would only grind out the levels that have the nightmare in them for if you wanted to drop for that. So that was it. That's the whole thing. It's very easy. It's super fun to do. Well, fun. I mean, you're probably going to be playing it on auto unless you're a buffer, but you should be playing probably some kind of PvE. So if you're grinding out your armor, you want to start on verse 5. Everything, these, like, the first 4 pieces that we named earlier that are in the notice are at 5% drop, and everything else is at 1%. It doesn't matter what round you go into, they're all going to be 1%. So you can do this one. What's the power level on verse 5? Verse 5 is 40, so most people, especially if you haven't got your neir armors, you should definitely be able to get them here. And then let me pull up the boat. So these are all of the armors at SR or SS, as the database isn't updating their icon. So you'll see Deep Sea Gloves Staff, 11421. 2B's Gloves Staff, 1419. So are they like 1 or 2 points better? Sure, absolutely. But the big issue with the neir armor is that if you have a polearm or a gunner or a mage, or I believe they have tomes too. Yeah, so the only pieces that you can really grind out from this one are your blade, your heavy, your instrument, and your staff. So, like, if you are one of those 4 players, if you are a cleric, if you are a bard or minstrel, if you are a crusher, or if you are a breaker, you probably want to grab these extra sets to make sure you have 4 of your class, like 4 sword, 4 instrument, 4 hammer, 4 etc. It's easy to do. It's not a particularly hard grind. Like, 40k on the verse 5, you should be able to clear out in a minute or 2. I was just showing you what the last one looked like for the sake of showing you what it looked like. I'll do 5 real quick just so you can see it. The thing that you're going to run into that's the most difficult is the actual story mission. So you have to clear a wind skill, or clear it using a wind skill 3 times. That's a lot, surprisingly. I didn't realize it was going to be as annoying as it has been to do. Okay, so it's going by pretty quick. We're already pretty much through round 1. I am going to buff Benzi's attack, though. I need him doing more damage. I gotta get Zen in on this grid, too, because he's a crusher main, and having the extra hammers will definitely help out. Bam! Suck it. That's a dead spider. Go ahead and auto-target that guy for when that tome pops up. Let's just pop Eris, I guess. There you go. That's how fast it is. Already pretty much done. And we're done. Right as my Eris activates. What a time to be alive. So that's it. Let's see if we got a drop. I don't think I did. But at 1%, I'm not mad. I get it. So, like I said, the too long didn't read for this is if you have cleared the near shop and there's nothing really of value left in there, farm it out. Like, it's easy drops for, like, if you go to verse 8, like, these are good drops. Like, don't let anybody tell you they're not. Especially for 8 AP, like, that's the big benefit here. Like, even if they're a 10% drop, for 8 AP, it's, what, for a pro armor grind? 60? 45? Like, it does, like, you can do so many more for this. And yes, it does take time. I'm not going to tell you it doesn't take time. But it's pretty good, man. It's pretty easy to do. So remember, you only get the armor sets for 4 classes on this one. So if you are any of the, not these classes, and I will name them again so everybody can see it. If you are not a blade, heavy, instrument, or staff, don't worry about it. Don't even, like, clear it. And if you need extra SS or SR gear for your subgroup, or you're just looking to grind out extra stuff, grab them. You only get 10% of these in your subgrid, so it's not like crazy, but it's better to have them and have stats than not. So like, I 100% get it. But if you are not a heavy, a staff, a instrument, or a blade, don't really prioritize this one, but if you are, do it. So that's it. Like, comment, subscribe. Tell me if you've gotten, how many times have I gotten the nightmare? I think I've only got him to drop once. Yeah, I got one of them, so not too terrible. So that's it. So tell me how your account's going. Me and Fort are probably going to sit down and do sort of like an account comparison for like the replicant within a couple of days, maybe a week. But it's something we've been talking about to kind of show everybody where we are. So that's it for us. So you guys have a good one.